Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're going to completely reframe how we look at education. I want you to step away from the idea of learning as just sitting at a desk absorbing facts. Instead, imagine it as an active expedition. You are an explorer, charting a course through brand new information. But, as you know, to be a successful explorer, you really need the right tools and the right crew. So today we're unpacking exactly how data and collaboration are transforming the modern classroom.
It really comes down to this. How do you know where you're going if you don't know where you are? Think about it. In the old days of learning, you'd wander through a subject for weeks, completely blind, just waiting for a massive final test to reveal where you stood. It was honestly like hiking without a map and just hoping you didn't fall off a cliff. But the modern alternative is so much better. It's all about real-time navigation.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is the literal map for our journey today. First, the Learning Super Compass. Then, inside the Data Dashboard, followed by the Accelerated Learning Cycle, Collaborative Expert Thinking, Tools for Deep Comprehension, and we'll wrap up with Your Learning Mission.
All right, Part 1, the Learning Super Compass, Finding Your Direction. Let's get into it.
If you're a modern explorer in the classroom, data-driven instruction is absolutely your ultimate navigation tool. It literally takes the guesswork out of the entire equation. The main mission of this super compass, the whole point of it, is focused on keeping you on track for your grade-level targets. But obviously, to hit that destination, we really need to know exactly where you currently stand.
Which brings us to Part 2, inside the Data Dashboard, your real-time map.
Let's look under the hood of the Mission Control Center your teacher is using. Now, this dashboard doesn't just display a static final grade. No, it provides a constant, rolling update of your progress. Your teacher can see your individual performance on specific questions, the number of attempts you've made, or, and this is key, if you're spending an unusual amount of time on a single assignment. It even zooms out to show class-wide struggles so they know if the whole group is stuck on a specific concept.
Now, you might be wondering, where exactly does all this data come from? Well, educators use what are called formative assessments. And hey, don't panic, these aren't those terrifying high-stress pop quizzes from the past. They're just small, low-stakes activities. Actually, when you use interactive learning apps like Waggle or Amira Learning, they're quietly collecting this data in the background, essentially dropping another pin on your teacher's map to show where you are.
Because your teacher has this real-time map, they can completely change how they teach. Instead of getting to the end of a unit, realizing the whole class failed a test, and then having to reteach everything from scratch, they use just-in-time interventions. This is a game changer. They see instantly who is struggling and can provide the exact right amount of support right when you need it before you ever actually fall behind.
Moving right along to Part 3, the Accelerated Learning Cycle, moving forward.
So, the teacher acts as a guide, using all this data in what's essentially a continuous, never-ending loop. Step 1, your teacher analyzes benchmark data to figure out your exact strengths. Step 2, they address the need by prioritizing content and establishing groups. And Step 3, they constantly monitor and adjust. The cycle literally never stops, and it's all designed to keep moving you forward.
And this brilliantly illustrates the human side of data. Math teacher Ashley Bebow notes that feedback guides you, helps you persevere when you hit a roadblock, and helps you build your confidence level. You see, data isn't a punishment. It's actually the exact feedback you need to confidently push through those tricky obstacles.
This data also powers what we call differentiated instruction. Let's be real, have you ever sat in a class and thought, man, I am the only one who doesn't get this? We've all been there. Well, data helps eliminate that feeling entirely. By seeing exactly what everyone needs, teachers can tailor the learning for all student populations, whether that's English language learners or students with special education needs. The goal is that you are never, ever left behind.
All right, on to Part 4, Collaborative Expert Thinking, Building the Crew.
Okay, we've talked a lot about individual data. But listen, no explorer completes a major expedition completely alone, right? The modern classroom relies really heavily on forming dynamic small groups. Remember Step 2 of our cycle? Establishing groups based on data. Doing this leverages diverse perspectives and your own individual strengths. When you work collaboratively, you literally turn a solitary struggle into a shared success.
Let's move to Part 5, Tools for Deep Comprehension, Equipping the Team. So, what exactly is this crew doing when they get together? They use incredible mental tools to move way past rote memorization. One great example is the Feynman technique. This is where you take a highly complex idea and basically force yourself to simplify it so much that you can explain it clearly to someone else. Small groups are the perfect environment for this.
Because honestly, if you can't explain it simply to your crewmates, you probably don't truly understand it yet.
Our second tool involves mental model maps. Think of these as visual frameworks that guide you in connecting brand new information to things you already know. Instead of just trying to memorize an isolated fact, you draw a map connecting it to your existing knowledge structure. Working in groups helps forge these really deep connections, and that's what turns raw data into active comprehension.
This builds a very clear contrast. On one side, we have the old, pretty ineffective way of learning, simple memorization. You know the drill, cramming facts for a test only to forget them like a week later. But on the other side, we have our new goal, active comprehension. By combining data with teamwork and mental tools like the Feynman technique, you achieve deep, lasting knowledge. It's a total game changer.
And finally, part 6, your learning mission, taking the helm. We've covered the quantitative data and we've talked about the qualitative collaboration techniques. Now it is time for you to take the helm. My big call to action for you today is this: get curious about your data. Seriously, don't let your learning be a mystery. Ask your teachers about their learning dashboard. When you hit those targets, celebrate your wins. And then, use that exact same information to set your next ambitious goals.
Because remember, you are the explorer here, and the compass is literally in your hands. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. What will your learning data reveal about your next great expedition? I want you to dive into your data, build your crew, and take absolute ownership of your personalized learning journey. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy exploring.